Look, now the Palestinians, and of course Palestinian can mean anything. Again, we have a new generation of Palestinians that are on American campuses, the social media Palestinians, the wannabes who now adapted to the cause and have been justifying violence.
Can I just jump in there and say that that's really interesting to me that you talk about them as Palestinians, because you're talking about the people who pursue and promote the ideology of Palestinianism, almost like a political belief, that is to say, a form of obstruction and, let's say, cultural terrorism, even within university campuses and even in the debate we were in last night. You're describing all of those people as effectively Palestinians, the same way you might describe people as communists or Marxists or what have you, if they subscribe to the right ideologies and behave in a certain way. And at the same time, there are the Palestinians who are those descended from the families that lived in the region that is now Israel and the Judea and Samaria, West Bank, Gaza. How do these people even fit together in that respect? Because I think you're right, there is a Palestinianism, but they're definitely different from the people we're talking about.
What makes them different?
Well, they don't live there, I suppose. There might be an order of 6 million who want a right of return.
Well, now we have maybe 1 billion who want the right of return to that very small piece of land. All of them are entitled for something, aren't they? They maybe want a part of Tel Aviv, they want a part of New York, and maybe part of Beverly Hills, wherever, there is successful Jewish minority, that they build something beautiful,
So effectively, you're saying that Palestinianism is defined most centrally and fundamentally
it's a mental illness. This is what it is. And it's not limited to Gaza. And it's universal. And it's the victim persona that is entitled for compensation, or entitled in some cases for revenge, for retaliation. And nothing can satisfy this ambition, because it doesn't matter how much you give them something they haven't earned, they are going to ask for more. And nothing will satisfy their ambition. That's why I described them many times as a black hole. So now, we're not talking about ethnicity. If it was a legitimate ethnicity like Kurds, Jews, Druze, Persians, these are ethnicities. Muslims don't even qualify as an ethnic group. It's a belief system. Palestinian is also individual who believe in the Palestinian narrative, regardless of their position. And if you notice, most of the leaders, actually, of Palestine are foreign agents. From Yasser Arafat, the father of the revolution, was Egyptian. Ismail Haniyeh was Egyptian. Yahya Sinwar was Egyptian. All Hamas leaders, from Rantisi to Zahar, all of them, on their birth certificate, Egyptians. So, at most, their ethnicity are Arabians. And they have cousins in Israel. And this is the better version of their ethnic community, or their, unfortunately, they don't even qualify as a nation.
So what is their fundamental? What do they have in common? Hatred of Israel? Hatred of Jews?
Yes. It's hate. This is their common ground.
So I often actually ask, because I hear a lot when I talk about this with people who subscribe to it, resistance is a fundamental kind of characteristic that I hear often of the Palestinian. But again, resistance requires something to resist against. And it's like a definition predicated on opposing something else, right?
Right, well, the resistance, it's the sugarcoating violence. And this is their attempt to legitimize violence as its international law, or as its universal law, that people have the right to resist. It's another human lie, and it's delusional. To keep order is something. To protect civilization is something. To protect the most vulnerable is something. To protect women, to make sure that the society is safe from thugs, from violent people, from rapists. To do that, this is the will of the majority. In any decent society, a society that is longing for life and working towards integration. That would be the basic and most fundamental duty of the people, of the, let's say, the collective mind or consciousness of that society. On the other hand, a barbaric society who want to gamble with the future of children, want to create chaos and destabilize the region or the territory wherever they are, that guarantees them the continuation of profit, status at the expense of generations to come. And that's the very definition of what's so-called Palestinian society. They have been doing it for so long. They never wanted to have stability and try to construct or build a nation. They want the people to struggle all the time for the endless cause. And last night was very evident of people who stay here in the comfort of the West, who created careers out of this tragedy, made names for themselves, even though they've never been there, and they are not willing to pay what the people, part of the people suffering in the Middle East. This type of mediocres are also Palestinians. Those are like actually the qualified Palestinians. But if you ask me about the people there, the children, this is not their ethnicity. At some point in their childhood, they get indoctrinated. And hatred is the greatest weapon. And it's directed towards Israel. But is it only Israel? Now it's Israel. But also, at some point, it will become the United States or become the UK. Because they're always looking for, now we have big movement in the West. And all of them were kefiyas. They switch now. Their fight is not only against Israel, it's against the empire.
So in fact, Palestinian terrorism has targeted historically non-Israelis. It's targeted plenty of Western targets in the past. And so it's not the case that we can outrun the Israelis on that one.